Righto, it's time to button this bad boy up. Today we're going to put the hydraulic lines back on and take the spark plugs out and try and turn this engine over by hand and see how we go. G'day everybody, welcome back. Today summer is here, so it's about 30 million degrees, it's hot, so come out today to the carport to work on the FIAT. Our goal today is, as I said before, is to just bang these hydraulic lines back in, seal that system back up, pull the spark plugs and just turn this over by hand. I'm also going to pull the sump plug and see if anything foam falls out. So hopefully reasonably short. I've got to go tractoring this afternoon and get some stuff done, but let's hook in. So there's two hydraulic lines, one from here and one from here, that run along the chassis, through this gap, and up and into the pump, which is up the front here. The light's a bit strong today, so I'll just turn this around. I'm going to take this shaft off because it has to go on after the radiator, and I have to shorten that bolt. So we've spent the last 24 hours. I've put some WD-40 down the pipes, plenty of scunge came out. So I'm going to put the back ones back on first. New O-rings, I've got new O-rings. Put the back ones on first and then put the front ones on. Okay, so give everything a really good clean. That doesn't have an O-ring there, it looks like it has a gasket. So I'll just check the other end. That's no gasket, yeah, no seal either. So we're just going to bolt that back on today and see how it goes. I may have a gasket for it. Hold the phone. So we're going to check in a magic bag I've got. Okay, so I don't have another gasket for this, but for now I'm just going to put it back on dry. It's a bit of a pig to put in place because it has to go down and over and around and through various things, and then I'll drop it. Like I said before, about the delay. I am going to try and start the other pipes at the same time because they are quite difficult to thread in. Okay, so this is one big pipe here, put basically in position. This is the other big pipe here, put basically into here. And I'm going to try and start these because access is quite difficult and I don't like my chances. Rethink this one. Okay, so these two pipes have to screw together. Now I'm not going to do them up super tight because I want to make sure that they're basically in the right spots before I do, because once they're done up, well, they're not going to move, are they? Okay, so that one's basically where it goes. That one's basically where it goes. So I'll put these two bolts in at the back just to anchor this one down. Again, I'm not going to do these up super tight just yet because just in case I have to undo them. Oh, come on. Let's get in there. Just a little bit. That's the way. Just a little bit. That's that one. And that's... Now, well, I've got one started, so that'll anchor it. I need this little bag of bolts here. So, I've got a little bag of bolts. I've got a bag of O-rings as well. So I've already got the O-ring out of that one. Doesn't want to go where it's going to go, does it? A little bit of oil on an O-ring. Put it in the little groove, make sure it's not twisted. That looks like it's where it's got to go. Double check the O-ring. They're not the right bolts because they're not long enough. I have to check the other bolt baggie. Alright, so I've run into a couple of problems. One, these bolts, for whatever reason, are all different sizes. So this bolt here goes in really well, but if I drop it, because that's what I do, it isn't long enough, right? So this one goes in, happy days. I know the right thread for this bolt. This bolt, which is bigger, goes in for about 3 turns and then stops and is on an angle. So it's clearly been patched before. And then on the other side, I can only get the bolts to just start. So what I'm going to have to do is leave the hydraulic lines where they are. They're connected now. They're not tight, they're connected. Take the pump off, take the pump back down the shop, which is shut today, and size these bolts appropriately. So the hydraulic system is more together than it was. However, it's not together. So it's all a bit frustrating. So what I thought we'd do is we'd take the spark plugs out, see if we could at least spin this engine over and then call it quits for the day. The spark plugs were only loose when I picked the engine up. The engine's been in a shed for 20 years and it does turn over, but I wanted to try and turn it over by hand and make sure that, there's the oil bottle, make sure that everything goes up and down like it should. Now, have a look around here. I don't have a bolt that I can easily get a spanner on, so this is by hand. Let me put this down where we can see something. I have some movement, which is good, but I need more lever. See if we can lever some movement. Oh, lever some blood. Ow. This engine was rebuilt, so it's going to be pretty tight, which it is. And it also hasn't turned for some time. Oh, I can't win today. Got some claret. Let me rethink this. Alright, let's have another go. Stand this up. See if this is any easier. Well, it's easier, but it's not. This engine is very tight. And of course, there's only one orientation. Alright, so it's turning over. There's a positive. Everything's going up and down. There's a positive. What I am going to do, come around this side, put a little squirty in each hole. Try and make it even easier. Give that a little spin. One more. Rightio, so you know it goes round. We've got some oil down it straight. We know it's going to turn over. That's a solid start. So today we've achieved not much. We've worked out the bolts on the hydraulic pump at the wrong size, and until I've got that sorted, I can't put the radiator on. Or could I? I think I could put the radiator on. But do I want to? I don't know. Let me have a look. Let's have a look. Let's see if this will work. So, if I put those bolts in, I can't turn the engine over. But I can do the hydraulic pump and make that work. but it would be a pain in the ass. So the radiator's staying off. But we now know what we have to do. I have to take that off and go back to the shop. I'll do that on Monday. They're in place, ready to do up tight. The back ones are in place, ready to do up tight. The engine does turn over. Happy days. It's as tight as. So the only other thing left to do today is to pull the sump plug and see if anything drains out, which it would be nice if it did, but I'm suspecting that it won't. So let me grab a tub, a container, and we'll pull this bad boy out. Alright, so today nothing has gone according to plan. Lefty loosey, righty tighty. I'm expecting there will be no oil in this engine. And I'm also expecting that I'm probably going to take this side panel here off and have a look as a result of there being no oil in this engine. But before I turn it over anymore, I am going to put some oil in it. Oh look, no oil. Intriguing. I don't know how much oil goes in it. I've got the oil here. I'm going to put it in it. Then I'm going to turn it over by hand several times. So there's another good reason not to put the radiator in. I'm going to have to fill this up with oil. Nothing goes right on weekends. Okay, first up, thank you for watching if you've made this point of this very frustrating video. We haven't put anything else back on the engine or the tractor. We haven't tightened any bolts up to where they've got to stay. And it's still no closer to running than it was an hour ago. But we have an achievement list that we need to do. Resistors on, coils on, distributors on. That's coming this week. Fuel lines are on. Hydraulics are close. Radiator's an easy one. Bonnet is an easy one. So we'll get some progress pretty quick. Oh no, I put the fuel tank stand back on because I have to measure up this pipe that I'm gonna probably have to make. So yeah. Alright, well, thanks for watching everybody. I'm going to go and fix a problem on my hand, and I might have a sleep because today's just doing my head in. See you next time. Well, the oil cap might be broken, the mechanic might be broken, and the oil bottle might have a hole in it. But we're going to put some oil in it. How's that for optimism? And then this oil container is going in the bin because the dog's been eating it again. About 4.5 litres. It's a small 4-cylinder petrol. I'll do some research, see what I can find. I don't have a dipstick, which makes it even harder. But again, all part of the fun. Instead of fixing old tractors, I might go and drive a train for a living. Drink beer. Sit at the pub. Don't play with tractors. Nah, tractors are fun. See you next time. surprisingly, that's getting easier to spin. Morning, Paddy, and welcome to Fernando, the 1960 Fiat 411RB. I've got two challenges. The throttle linkage arm, which goes from there to there, has a broken end. I've got the linkage arm, but I've got to reattach the springy ball jointy thing that clips onto that. That's probably the easy one. The hard one, well, it's not hard. The radiator obviously sits at the front and it has a return, so the water's coming this way forwards, returns into the top of the radiator. It's got to have a line that runs from this point, which is the thermostat bypass, up into it. Now I can blank that off if I need to, because I'm not running a thermostat. In fact, it's probably the easy one. The other one is I have a 3-port manifold that returns water to the radiator. I have the seals, and I'm still trying to source one of these. What I was thinking about was just making like this bit, a little T-piece, and then just running rubber hose and then just making a fitting to go onto the radiator, which is your standard, whatever size that is. That'll be 35-40 mil in diameter. So it's a low pressure system. I'm not worried about running a rubber hose to a T, to another T, and then up and then into an expander. But I want to pay you to do this job. Like I said, I've got these. I know what size they need to be. I've got the bolts at the shop. I haven't bought them yet. I still think we could probably blank this off because I'm not running a thermostat. But when you're back, come around, we'll catch up, or I'll come see you and we'll catch up and we'll talk about the challenge.